Okay, we will revise chapter 1. Today we are taking chapter 2, but we will revise Oliver Twist chapter 1. And I will ask you, what was Oliver's mother condition? What was Oliver's mother condition? Okay, say together. She was tired, weak, pale, and she couldn't sit down. Okay. What did Oliver's mother want to see? She wanted to see her baby. هو Oliver. Okay. How was Oliver's mother found? She was found in the street. She was lying in the street. She was bleeding. Okay. Where was Oliver born? Where was Oliver born?
In a big workhouse.
In an old workhouse in a damn dark room. Okay. At the end of the chapter, what happened? His mother died. Okay. Where will Oliver go? Where? He will go to another workhouse. Okay. Here, Mrs. Man, she was a very wicked and shy and sly, okay, and she was greeting the inspectors. Government inspectors came to give her 7 pence. Okay, the money was meant to be used to improve the orphans' living conditions. يبقى she took 7 pence to improve يعني تحسن the living of the orphans. But she took most of the money for herself. And she bought a couple of loaves of bread for the poor young orphans. Okay? طيب, what did she do with the inspectors? Okay? She was greeting them with a nice hot cup of tea and an English cake. And they are satisfied with both Mrs. May's generosity and her care for the children. يعني when they come, the inspectors, مفتشين اللي بيجوا, they were satisfied or happy because she gave them a nice cup of tea and cake, and also she cleaned all the children. Okay? Where was Oliver in his 9th birthday? In his 9th birthday, Oliver Twist spent his birthday looked up in the cellar. Look up. Okay? He was in a room and she shut the door with the keys. That means that she locked up the cellar. She put him in the cellar, and it's a room under the house or the workhouse. He was beaten by Mrs. Man and locked up in the cellar. Why? Because they dared with 2 other boys, because they dared to ask for more food. Okay? They had the courage, كان عندهم الجرأة, they dared to ask for more food. Here came Mr. Bumble, came to take Oliver because he is 9 years old. When Mrs. Man called him and washed his face and hands and gave him a loaf of bread, he pretended to be sad because he would go with Mr. Bumble. He pretended. He's not sad in reality, but he pretended to be sad. because he felt happiness because he would go outside this workhouse. But he pretended to be sad. He said, "Please don't take me away from Mrs. Man. She is like a mother to me." طبعا he is lying, or he didn't tell the truth. Here he went to the new workhouse. Here was Mr. Bumble, okay, and he had to work to earn his living. He had to work to earn his living. What did he do? What did he do? He swept the floor, he cleaned the house or the hairs from the chimney, he watered the garden, and even cleaned the toilets. What did he have for this? He had thin soup and onion twice a week and have a cake on Sundays. 3 months had passed since Oliver left Mrs. Mann, okay? And one day, all the boys gathered together. They gathered together, the orphans gathered together and held a small council meeting. Why? They had to decide one boy to walk to Mr. Bumble and ask for more food. But they made a council meeting because they want one boy to go to Mr. Bumble and ask for more food. Votes were cast and it fell to Oliver Twist. That means that Oliver who will go to ask. The next day, Oliver went and said, "I want some more, please." He asked the cook, and the cook took him to Mr. Bumble. He took him to Mr. Bumble, and Mr. Bumble, of course, was very surprised. Mr. Bumble raised his stick and landed a strong blow on Oliver's back, and Oliver cried in pain. And this was the end of chapter 2. The next morning, they put a notice. What was in this notice? The notice had a speech. They wrote that there is a reward for anyone who would take young Oliver away from the workhouse. Why? Why did they want someone to take Oliver away? Because he dared to ask for more food.